Hey. You all right? The moment was very nice. This is where her character arc is mostly resolved, what she's fighting for, and you know what being part of the Heirs team means to her. It's really nice to see her concluded like that. That being said, I did not personally enjoy filming that because that was really early. Man, I was tired and in that uncomfy suit before it was ripped.
There were too many scenes that were shot past 2 a.m.
He wrote his whole romantic spiel on the spot, like minutes before we shot the scene. And it turned out to be one of the most genuine romantic things where you're like, oh, my heart, oh my gosh, what a guy, am I right? He's definitely gonna be the heartthrob of the season.
Find them. Finish it. Tonight.
Okay, Bella, what kind of battering was Terry using?
When we go to Arnie's house, Brendan's house, that was the first thing I ever filmed. I had a black eye, I did some makeup, and Megan did some makeup on herself too. That was a fun one to film. It was the first time we were all together and actually doing it. It was such a surreal experience. So many scripts die, you know, and never make it to the filming stage. So to be there with everyone, that's when it became a real project. That's when Heirs of Justice became this amazing series.
To be completely honest, there was always a small part of me back then when in those 3 long years of writing the script and everything pre-production where I was just kind of like, is this ever even gonna happen, And then even when we filmed the proof of concept trailer, I was like, okay, like that's still a big step, but that trailer wasn't very long and it's not like filming an entire episode. I think I really started to see the reality of it, once the script was finished and once Nicole showed me my costume. And I just think she did such a good job with that. I was just like, wow, like this is happening. Here's my costume, here's my lines. And I know Andrew had been preparing a lot of things and I'd done several video projects with him in the past, so I knew there was not gonna be any chance that that was not gonna come through clutch. I think another big, leap in the process was after the first day at Palomar, because that was always the thing I was the most concerned about, was powers fighting the whole superhero thing. We had to go back to Palomar, and we didn't get it all in one day as we originally had hoped, but we got a lot done that first day. That was just like the final thing for me where all my doubts was like, all right, the most difficult thing I thought we had to do, we just did it. So, I mean, what can stop us now?
So part of the stuff was filmed on Palomar, and then we had to do pickup shots, and with everybody's schedule, it was just impossible to get back up on Palomar again. So some of those shots are green screened, and our green screen area that we have access to is actually outside.
A lot of the little first person sections and everything were actually at Andrew's house.
That last night was utterly freezing. It was frigid outside. It was raining. We had umbrellas.
I actually liked that night, even though it was like 35 degrees, I think, by the time we left, which is really cold for a winter night in San Diego. That's freezing. So we're not used to it at all.
That was a fun night afterwards, not going through it, because there was so much stuff that happened. The blue screen ended up falling in a puddle, and I had to turn on my car, turn on the heater, and put the blue screen in front of, my car that's, just like, blowing out heat. Because I'm like, you're gonna be able to tell a blue screen doesn't look quite right if there's wet splotches everywhere. So already, that was the first thing that happened. We hadn't filmed anything yet, and that was the first thing that happened. The blue screen drops into a puddle. I'm like, oh, jeez.
In between every single scene, I would throw on a blanket, and sometimes, the character playing Bella, she would come up and we would huddle together like penguins. And I know some people brought jackets, but it was freezing outside, and every single time we'd be warming ourselves up, we'd and then we'd throw off the blanket, we'd run around a bunch to get our heart rates up, and then we'd do the scene real quick, trying to look all calm. But you can see our breath. I'm sure you can see it in some of the shot. You can see the smoke coming out.
I had it better than the other girls because I'm the only one in pants. So I like to make the joke that Well, we were up in the mountain. They had the advantage because they were wearing skirts and everything, and it was very, very hot out. And I had the advantage here because it was very, very cold out, and I had pants and a jacket. So I also had, if I remember correctly, I had like shorts underneath and like a long sleeve jacket shirt like underneath to keep me warm, but it did nothing. It was still freezing, and when I was not being used, I ran back to the house so that I could be warm.
I was like baking scones to try and keep our house warm. Between takes, there was somebody with an umbrella, and it would take him up to where we were shooting and then shuttle him back. We had Jackbox going in the house.
And cut. That's a wrap for Nicole!
It was really fun because you could hear when somebody was done because there'd be this big cheer would erupt.
It was insane, but so much fun. We would go up and we would do our scenes, and after we would finish a scene, everyone on the set would literally do a big round of applause. And I mean, how cool is that? You finish your last shot, and it's on one of the most temperate days, like temperamental days.
Cut. That's a wrap for Megan!
It was so nice because I didn't have to put on the mask anymore. I think that was my favorite part of that. But it was also really nice because it felt like a finish, you know? You know when you like finally finish like an art project or just like any project and you're just like, oh, I'm done. It's finished. It was the heartwarmingness of being finished with something.
I think one of the shots actually was like me punching Will's face, and like I remember we did it in one take, and I got so close that he said that the hair actually like he could feel my fist like brushing his hair, and like it was like really cool to be able to be like, oh my god, like I feel like I'm a superhero, you know, and I feel like I'm like cool or something. But that was honestly one of the hardest, if not the hardest things I've filmed because it was just so freaking cold for a long time, and I think I had the most to film out of everybody, or I was like close to it, and so I was constantly like being needed. Like a lot of the times people were able to like chill at Andrew's house, but I was like couldn't for a long time.
Cut. That's a wrap for Holly!
Yay!
It's just really exciting to film. That was the last time we were all here together filming something. And I remember as the night progressed, you know, someone would be like, I finished my last shot, and we'd be so excited. And we made a big deal every time we filmed our last thing, because we were filming for 5 months. So this is when it all ended, you know? I don't even know what specifically shot was the end, was the last one. But it was something green screen.
Action. And cut. That's it.
Yeah, so thank goodness, you know, it was a lot of relief just not having to wear that costume again, but it was a bittersweet moment because we had spent 5 months filming. We had spent 5 months constantly seeing one another under the Heirs circumstances. So it was kind of sad departing and stuff.
Action. Side step and lunge. And that's the wrap for Will!
Hey. It was kind of surreal because, you know, like I said, just getting with the energy of all these youngsters and being able to do fight scenes and just play on that energy and just kind of over and over again, scene after scene, and despite taking a couple accidental blows, the energy kept up there, and I'm sure it was very, very fun for Daniel to sit back and watch because, you know, he mapped it all out. We followed the footsteps, hopefully, and hopefully he's proud of it, and hopefully you guys enjoy it.
We won.
Cut. That's a wrap for Jordan! Woo!
A few minutes later, they'd come down, I finished it! And then they'd, you know, have scones or hot chocolate or tea or whatever. And the next person would go, and there was just this amazing sense of accomplishment and camaraderie that was happening that was really special.
We ended up finishing that night, filming like around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and everyone was really happy because they had finished filming, and that was really the end of all of the major action of Heirs of Justice. And to me, it felt great to get it done. It didn't really feel bittersweet. It really felt more just, oh, thank God I'm done, because it was a lot of work to get to that point. It was a lot of fun to do looking back at it afterwards, but going through it, that was nuts. Kristen had recommended that I contact one of our friends who has a barn, and she's like, why don't we just, use that as the homecoming scene? And I was like, perfect. We got permission to use the barn, and we invited some more people to kind of make it look a little bit like a school dance. For what we were able to film and how it ended up looking, I was really, really happy with the result.
I did the flowers, the corsages and the boutonnieres, and I had never done wrist corsages before. And my mom has done flowers. She worked at a florist for forever, and the barn was next door to her house, and I was having issues with these wrist corsages. They weren't sticking, they weren't doing what and I remember frantically calling her, Mom, what am I doing wrong? I don't know what I'm doing. So she, sweet thing, said, it's okay, I'm gonna come down, and she came down and she fixed everything, and then she did the 2 table arrangements with the leftover flowers. And so that was fun to get to do that with her and have her as part of the process.
I had come from work a little bit late, so by the time I got there, I think they'd already shot a few things. But Kristen made these beautiful corsages and boutonnieres, and everyone looked so dapper and clean cut. Oh, such a great day.
It was decked out in like string lights, and it was actually gorgeous. I wanted to dress up, and everybody was all decked out.
I did not very subtly wear my colors because we got to pick what we wore, and I very obviously wore my burgundy, white, yellow, black. I mean, I like the way I look, yeah.
I actually thought to myself, I was like, I don't know if for sure if Bella would actually wear this dress, but Megan loves this dress, and I'm gonna use this dress anytime I can, so that's why I did that dress. But I also think up deep down, Bella really is kind of girly. She doesn't show it, but when it comes to clothes and heels and stuff, she'd totally dress up if she needs to. That's her girly side coming out.
It was really fun being Arnie, has no idea what he's doing. I'm not saying that I have all this experience. I don't really know what I was doing either, but it was just very fun to be clueless and just ask all the other heirs to be like, guys, I have no idea what to do. I mean, I came with her, but what if music comes on? What do we do? Okay. And I also find it really funny because I am definitely a short guy. It is just comical how much taller she is than me. And I love that.
So you rarely end a superhero movie, if ever, with the bad guys defeated and then just roll credits. It's no, you think of the first Avengers movie, and then you see them all going back to where they came from, and then the very last scene, they're in the restaurant just chilling, because it's important once again to just bring them back down to earth as okay, they're still human, and their life goes on. Their whole life isn't just socking people around, just it's good to see them okay in a setting where they're okay and they're happy and having a good time. And I think it's just a good way to decompress everything that happens, because a lot happens,
Clark's speech, where he's giving a toast to Terry, that was Jordan improving that whole thing. And it ended up feeling really good. That was all one take, by the way. That was all done in just one take.
I think it really set the scene with all the little fairy lights around. And there was a romantic slow dance. Another moment for the entire audience to fall for Bart. Oh, what a stud, am I right?
That was really cool because we got to rotate people in, for certain things. The heirs were sitting outside. They were all watching a football game while I'm inside filming with 2 people at a time. Okay, another 2 people at a time, another 2 people at a time.
Dancing Like, we got to do whatever we want when we danced. That was so much fun because everybody was just being absolutely ridiculous.
After like everyone's done slow dancing, the music pumps up, and then all of a sudden it's like this big wide shot of everyone dancing, and then there's Bart. Of course Bart. You know, the little stupid, you know, quirky high schooler, and he's just standing there dancing, and he's like, ooh. So I'm also doing that, but I'm hidden behind somebody else. But of course, Bart had to do the stupid dance.
Yeah, so filming the prom scene was cool because even though I wasn't like really in it, I was still helping like set up and help like just watching the characters do what they do. And that kind of gave me the idea of filming like the ghost Terry scene. And I asked Andrew to film that, and so we did. And it was because like I was getting to watch from someone who's not really participating, but someone looking on to his success and looking on to this team that he prepared to save the world, I guess. And it was just, I felt it in that moment that that's how Terry would feel watching this.
It's been a lot of little flashes, like, oh my goodness, this is really cool, and this is going to be a big thing, and this is a thing. Watching Andrew edit this whole thing is just in a whole nother piece of this is really happening. This is gonna go.
Everything that a lot of people, even like way before me even, have been building up to this, and we're actually following it through. Even now, it still doesn't feel real. Like after everything's done, like getting ready to go to like the premiere and everything, like it's just like, it's still weird to me that that everyone has done something like this. Like I never even thought I would do anything like this ever, so.
Honestly, I had so much fun at the premiere. We had seen rough cuts and things that were like halfway done, and some shots here and there missing, and like, you know, the sound is still like messed up. But to see it all actually, you know, start to finish in one cohesive, or, you know, like mostly cohesive, mostly finished product, it was really cool to see it all come together. And it was also kind of surreal in certain ways because we've been involved in this since, or I guess I shouldn't say we, I've been involved in this since like 2017.
This whole process has just, it's been an adventure. It's been a lot of problem solving at the last minute. It's been a lot of changing schedules, and this is gonna work, no, this isn't gonna work, and it's been a giant circus. But you know, we all persevered and we all pulled through, and I really hope that everybody just enjoys the ride.
I would want a season 2 if it was wanted by a significant fan base. I don't want to be like Hollywood, giving people sequels to things that no one really asks for, or just like a sequel that seems like it just kind of has to happen just because everything gets a sequel.
I guess my answer is yes, with the right stipulations and the right reception and just everything falling together the way it did for season 1, except better, because season 2 would need to be better.
When I look back at the series, it's an hour and 51 minutes long, which is basically a full-length feature movie. So basically I shot a movie, but just in 9 pieces. That's, even thinking about it, I'm just like, wow, dang, that's really cool. To see it from the infancy that it was. This just one really random idea that I had one night, and then to see it here as it's being built and showing up completed, it makes me step back and just really appreciate the work that's gone into it from everyone who's put their hands on this production. Looking at the end, I'm in awe that it got done, and incredibly thankful for everyone who helped. I said to myself, I want to do Heirs of Justice, not just because I enjoy the subject matter, not just because I think I can do it. I wanted to prove to myself that this is something that could be done. Pandemic be damned, and I did it.